Hello, Sagittarius. How are you doing? I'm Adriana. I'm an evolutionary life coach, and today you and I are going to go on a journey through the tarot cards to uncover your spiritual message and beneficial focus for the week. So, the very first card we're going to draw is your theme card, and we have Two of Cups. Right away, my guides are saying mutuality. So this is about making sure that the give and take is balanced. This can be give and take that's inside of you, give and take that's outside of you. There's so many different directions we can go with this. So I'm really curious to see what cards come next. But the idea is mutual benefit, mutual interest, mutual engagement. This can also do with the two halves of yourself, the male and female half, making sure that they're really paying attention to each other, that your energies are blended and complementing each other rather than fighting each other. Okay, so let's keep going. Now, interesting, we've got a more independent card for the way that you're feeling. She's turned towards this partnership, but she's feeling a bit more open. This is the Princess of Wands. The desire to follow your heart, but also the desire really for independence and for going out on your own. So nothing wrong with that energy, Sagittarius. It's a good energy for you. It's a comfortable energy for you. You know this energy of independence and leading with your heart and going in search of new horizons. But there's a sophistication that's being asked here, where you're not just looking at yourself, you're not just looking at where you're going, but you're really exploring the mutual exchange between yourself and another, yourself and the environment, yourself and a choice. There's a bit more involvement. I hope you can kind of get the sense of what I'm saying. There's a bit more kind of back and forth going on, a bit more dialogue. It's a good way to put it. Good dialogue between you and another or another thing. So, rest of your message, we've got the Four of Swords. Okay, I will. Four of Cups. They're telling me to go deeper with the first message. And Ace of Pentacles. And the Ace of Pentacles is walking into these fours. So we've got 4 and 4 is 8, plus 1 is 9. 2, we end up with 11. So 11 is interesting because 11 is the energy of one, the independence, and the the me, the self, the one, just the way her staff is. But then it's also 2 ones, and 1 plus 1 is 2, so it's relationship. So this is independent, self-possessed, empowered relationship. It's not relationship for the sake of relationship. It's not independence for the sake of independence, but it's finding a way to navigate so that you have that duality between the one and the two really perfectly balanced. So, this is interesting, Sagittarius, because I think we're really on this development kind of more globally towards these empowered relationships that are beyond codependence. I think the social paradigm of the past used to be more about codependence, making the other person happy, thinking that your happiness resided in someone else. And that's kind of how everything was in the past. That's how relationships were. And now we're coming to a point where we don't have to be in those kind of patterns anymore. We can be independent. We can be self-possessed. We can be connected to our higher guidance and our own sense of identity. And we can use that in relationships to mutually give and take, to give and receive. So these are really relationships based on giving rather than taking. Codependent relationships tend to be taking, right? Even though it looks like you're giving, you're really taking because what you're trying to get is a sense of self-esteem, a sense of belonging, a sense that you're worth something. But this is talking about the flow of these two cards, and it's funny, red hair and red hair. So there's a heart transfer from this card to that card. What we're really talking about here is being able to shine your own light by yourself and shine your light in a way that does mutually benefit someone else. Not having to dim your light down to fit something else, but also not shining so brightly that the other person is overwhelmed, but knowing exactly how to temper your light so that it's mutually beneficial for the other person. I'm thinking of those oil lamps. They're very old fashioned, and I've never actually lit one, but I've seen one. And you can dial the flame bigger or smaller depending on how bright you want your light. But the thing is the flame stays the same. The oil is the same, the wick, everything is the same. It's just there's a modulation. So I feel like you're being asked to do a little bit of a modulation here. Okay, guys, I hope that was deep enough. All right, we've got the Four of Swords into the Four of Cups, and starting with the Ace of Pentacles. The Ace of Pentacles looks like it's trying to shake up these cards. The double 4 to me, funny, we had a double 1 with the 11, and now we've got a double 4. We've got some stasis, we've got some stagnant energy going on, but this Ace of Pentacles, that bear is walking right in saying, not going there, not going there. So I think what's being asked for you, can't even talk. Oh dear. What's being asked, Sagittarius, is different than the past. You're being asked to handle your light with a lot more finesse. This card will dim it. This card just considers using it. But this card is waking up and saying, hey, we've got work to do. Even if it seems like you're not shining your light in a big way, if you are matching it to the person or the situation in front of you in a way that uplifts them, that's appropriate. Okay? I used to take Alexander technique lessons, and my teacher would talk about appropriate use of force. You know, how much force do you actually need to pick up a pen? And I don't know if you've ever done this, and I've definitely done this, where there's a milk carton sitting on the counter or something like that, but you can't see how much liquid is in there, and you expect it to be really heavy, so you go in with a lot of force, and then the thing flies out of your hand because it was actually almost empty, right? It's that idea that you don't need to overwhelm people with your light and your gifts and your power, but you do need to still use it. Just because the person or the situation won't be able to handle all of your light, all of your enthusiasm, all of your energy, that doesn't mean you shut it down with these two cards here. That means that you figure out exactly how much of your light is needed to just ignite a little bit of positive energy in someone else, or to infuse a tiny bit of positive energy in the situation. You're just kind of nudging and tweaking. You're not going in there and like gangbusters and blowing it open. You're just kind of, here's a little bit more, here's a little bit more. Just one. We have one pentacle. So just one tiny thing, one tiny push. And that's different, right? You're happy out on the open road, doing your thing, doing all that you want to do, but you're asked to come down to earth here and to meet someone on the same level. You notice these two are basically the same height. So you're eye level with someone, you're leveling with someone, and literally leveling with someone. So no amount of light is too small. Too much light can burn. Too little light can choke. You're not allowed to come out. But the right amount of light helps everything thrive, and that is your specialty. Sagittarius, you have an never-ending supply of light. But now is the finesse. Now is how much do I use? How do I need more? Do I need less? So playing with that this week. All right, well, Sagittarius, thank you so much for sharing your time and energy with me. If I weren't able to read your energy, then I wouldn't be able to do what I love. So thank you again for this opportunity. And if you haven't already, please consider subscribing, liking, or leaving me a comment. I always love to hear from you. And lastly, you are welcome to check out my website. I do keep saying this, but I am under a new paradigm myself where I don't force things forward, where I am working on my website just as it comes. So what I'm trying to say is you are welcome to visit my website, but it is not finished. If there are offerings on there or if there's something beyond the offerings on there that you would like, please go ahead and email me. There's other things I'm going to offer, but they're just not up on the website yet. So email me for clarification if I've made any sense right now. And I'll look forward to seeing you next week. Have a good one, Sagittarius.